Here we're looking at the interpretive sign at Hopewell Mound Group. We were just up here, now we're here. Highway to Railroad Street, archaeological excavation and years of farming took their toll on Hopewell Mound Group. This helps orientate us. First is this large square. Notice the openings on the sides and what looks like a little mound at the entrance of each of those. That's typical. And then this is one of the largest mounds apparently originally in the whole mound complex in this area. Now reduced substantially, I think. If we go too far, we've got a spider who may have captured dinner. As we look at this, we are here. Where we're going to be looking when I show you the video is in this direction. As you look across this field, almost a mile in distance, there was once an enormous geometric earthwork complex. It covered 100 football fields in area, reaching to the line of trees you can see in the distance. 2 miles of earthen walls enclosed 32 known mounds, including the largest ever built by the Hopewell. Today we are both puzzled and amazed by the breathtaking size and the grandeur of this ancient, mysterious gathering place. Parentheses, mine, although there's not much left to see. It looks like that structure that's in white that almost looks like a fifth wheel trailer from here, that there may be a mound between here and there. And if so, be this mound that we're seeing. What we're sadly looking at is the result of farming, mainly plowing, of everything that existed in its way. Walk here, I get the slight sensation that there's a rise right here, and it goes out this way, and that maybe the square went there and extended quite a distance down and then cut back over there where you see that road. You can't see this probably. This variation's too subtle to be picked up by the camera. Right here, and you may be able to see a little, see that sign? All that sign is telling you we're on the interpretive trail, which is just a mown pathway. There's no explanation. But you'll notice an indentation in the ground, an undulation. And again, that may have something to do with it. Right here in front of us is a hump, and it seems to extend that way. And then over there, it depresses down. So maybe that's where the circle begins. I don't really know. Just walked over from that break in the trees there, and I'm at this large mown area. Right here, the ground slopes up and away, and it seems to be pretty much on a straight line, maybe indicating that we're on the inside of a huge square. We'll go up and see if this interpretive sign is useful. Okay, that appears to be the case. We're right here. We walked up to a point right about there. We started back in here somewhere. So I'll raise the camera. You can see that we're looking at an elevation. Starts right about where that little interpretive sign post is, right there close to us. Goes up at an angle like that, perhaps representing the top of this square portion here of the square, and pretty much a straight line on this to represent pretty much this line right here of the square, and also of this large rectangle or trapezoidal thing, or whatever you want to call it. Look at the length of that square, and then look at the length of this section here, which is 3.5 times more, it looks like. Now looking down there, realize that's that small part. That's the square. Here's the huge oblong, going presumably all the way down there to those trees. Remember that this huge complex, surrounded by this wall, was built by people who never gathered or lived in more than usually 3 huts together with their own little farming plots. And before, they had corn or agriculture. Corn has sustained most of the older societies I've ever encountered in this country. Included 13 miles of earthen walls and some 40 mounds, all of this covering 130 acres. These ancient earthworks with great care used simple tools like sharpened sticks, antler picks, and bone hoes to dig the clay, sand, and gravel needed to form the embankments in mounds. Took a huge force, labor, and generations of workers to finish building the earthworks. The most impressive Hopewell cultural artifacts were found here, like these 8,000 hand-chipped flint discs, ceremonial buried by the Hopewell nearly 2,000 years ago and unearthed by archaeologist Warren Moorhead in 1891. Imagine 8,000 flint discs, all of which had to be formed by a flint knapper, and solely to aggrandize those who were buried, apparently. Somewhat, I think, what those look like, although these look more like they're some kind of a hoe or even an axe. Neat around here is there's a whole system of bike paths for the people that live in this area. Guessing that this is the height of the mound, or at least what remains of it. It's probably not more than about 2.5 feet in height, maybe 3. But that's after this was probably farmed, which actually means plowed, for decades. Mostly the Hopewell created circles, squares, sometimes octagons, and sometimes longer linear mounds, as we know. But also there were unique ones like this D-shaped mound right here, which is actually formed of 3 other mounds inside of it.